people who are accused of wrongdoing in the Durham Report are still employed at the FBI now.
Shocking bias against President Trump and conservatives.
But the FBI will crush you. This government will crush you.
On Capitol Hill, House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan, who's long accused the FBI of discriminating against conservatives, is urging Congress to use its power of the purse to reform the FBI. Well, joining us now is Kyle Brosnan, Chief Counsel for the Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation. You know, it seems like almost every few weeks now we're hearing some story of the FBI falling prey to political persuasion, per se. What is it going to take? How much dirty laundry has to be aired from the FBI for something to change?
I think the Durham Report really outlined three major issues with the FBI that Congress and the public need to reconcile with moving forward. I think the first is remember that there was no predication whatsoever for the opening of the Russiagate investigation. And remember how divided the country was for the entire of Trump's presidency. Think of all the Christmas dinners, Thanksgiving family dinners that were ripped apart because of the division because of that. Second, the CIA knew of the Clinton campaign's plan to link President Trump to Russia and briefed President Obama, Vice President Biden, Attorney General Lynch, and Director Comey about those plans in August of 2016. So the current president of the United States was aware of the Clinton campaign's plan to link President Trump to Russia. Where's the accountability for the president? I haven't heard the White House press secretary really speak to this issue. She deferred to the FBI when asked about it. And I think the third issue is really getting to the core of it is where's the accountability? This Special Counsel Durham put out a 306-page report. It's quite dense, but one of his recommendations is that the FBI needs to sort of just adhere to its current policies and procedures. I don't think that's enough. The FBI has a significant credibility problem with a sizable portion of the American public, and we really need to revisit that organization as an institution as a whole.
You're right. There does need to be some form of accountability. I think that's what the American people are looking for here. Oftentimes I hear many people saying it's at the top. It comes down from the leadership. But now that it's so pervasive, is this more of an issue that is embedded in its culture?
I think so, and I think it's evidenced by the fact that some of the people who were accused of wrongdoing in the Durham Report are still employed at the FBI now. And so that is an avenue for Congress to pursue, to continue investigating. Chairman Jordan did invite Special Counsel Durham to testify. I hope he does accept that invitation and to testify. But I think Congress needs to examine everything, including its appropriations power. The FBI wants a brand new headquarters that's bigger than the Pentagon. Do we really want to reward this institution with that? I don't know. But there's plenty of investigations to go for Congress here, though, as well.
How do you gain reform, change the trust and integrity back into this institution without demonizing it? Because there's been a lot of concern that there are some good people still at the FBI. So how do you make sure that the American people can trust this organization without making them out to always be the bad guy?
That's a great question. So what we're doing here at the Heritage Foundation Oversight Project is using the Freedom of Information laws. We have filed dozens of Freedom of Information Act requests into the FBI to examine a whole litany of weaponization issues, including its collusion with mainstream media to dox and discredit whistleblowers, but also other elements to illustrate the unequal application of law here. And we're in court on a number of those cases. And so sunshine is the best anecdote for this, but it certainly is a challenge because there are thousands, as you said, of brave men and women who take their oaths of office seriously to keep this country safe. And so you need to root out and expose the bad actors in order to fix the institution as a whole and repair its credibility.
As we talk about the FBI, there's an active investigation going on with Hunter Biden. The FBI is looking into him. Can we trust them right now to handle this case appropriately, to be honest about that investigation?
Yeah, that's a serious question, and I don't know is the unfortunate answer. I mean, Chairman Comer a few weeks ago laid out some alarming business practices of Hunter Biden, $10 million in payments to 9 Biden family members that have gone through 20 different LLCs, which appears to be a deliberate scheme to obscure the flow of money. I mean, one of those nine Biden family members that receive funds from foreign governments, including the Chinese Communist Party and an oligarch in Romania, is the president's granddaughter. Why is she receiving money from foreign governments? The House Oversight Committee got that information from 4 banks. I believe they have other inquiries out into financial institutions, and I think there is a much bigger picture to paint for Hunter Biden and his business dealings abroad.
One of the whistleblowers, Steve Friend, told Fox News, "We brought the information and we sort of laid out the groundwork for people to feel that they can be protected as whistleblowers." That was his quote. So my question to you, Governor, is that what it will take to make a big impact on making sure this information in the last couple of weeks doesn't just die with the mainstream media and the Democrats, that more whistleblowers come forward?
Yeah, Joe, I think what has to happen is a larger number of rank-and-file FBI agents, people who still have their integrity, just like these 3, who just couldn't put up with it anymore, and they came forward. The saddest thing I heard was from Garrett O'Boyle, who just flat out said the government will crush you. They will crush your family. And what a sad state of affairs when a government that is supposed to protect us instead will literally run over all of us and our families like steamrollers if we dare disagree with what is simply illegal policies. The one big disappointment that I had, Joe, from the Durham Report was he basically tried to say that, well, the FBI didn't use the best practices of good investigation. That's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer didn't use the best culinary skills when he prepared the people that he ate in cannibalism. I just find that was a little too mushy, and there were no indictments. There have been no resignations. Nobody's being held accountable. So now we know for certain it was Hillary Clinton's campaign that started all of this nonsense to try to prevent an election of an American president, and once elected, try to have him thrown out in what was nothing less than a coup d'etat. And with all of the highest levels of government participating in that, nobody is ultimately going to jail except the people who were falsely accused, and some of them had to plead guilty just to save what little of their livelihoods and their families they had left.
Governor, after the 1,000-page report that the Republicans released, I believe, last November, plus the Durham Report, plus this hearing, it's very clear, and you've already mentioned it, it's clear to everyone that it's now an us versus them culture as far as who Americans are going to believe when it comes to corruption at the FBI. So we know the entire FBI isn't corrupt. So where do you start as far as making changes? Do you start at the top with Director Christopher Wray?
He's got to go. I mean, this is a person who knew that a lot of this stuff was happening. I think he was trying to protect the agency, but it doesn't matter. He should have cleaned house. People like Andy McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page should not have been allowed to just kind of walk away and go get nice TV contracts with MSNBC. They should have been frog-marched across the federal courthouse lawn. They should have had their homes raided, like Roger Stone's home. They should have been arrested in public, like Peter Navarro. There should have been some accountability, because of all the people in our country, the people who should have upheld the highest levels of the law should have been the people who were in the positions of the highest levels of law enforcement. They miserably failed. They lied, they covered up, they cheated, and they did it because of their own political instincts, something that an FBI agent is not supposed to take with him to work. And what they did just didn't violate their own internal ethics. It was a slap in the face to every conscious American who cares about integrity, right and wrong, and wants justice to be blind, not stupid.